Today is June 5th. The Bucs start the month with a sweep of the Cardinals. A great start to a 9-game homestand. Let's break it down. You're listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Yins, guys. Thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh, and I am joined, as always, by my brother, Jake. What's up, Jake?
Hey, man. What's going on?
I told you I was getting over a cold last time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just getting started. It's gonna be an interesting one. Everything is stuck in my head right now.
Yeah.
So that is what it is.
I hate that feeling.
Yeah. But on the other hand of things, what a day.
What a day.
Bucks finish off the sweep today.
Mm-hmm.
Bednar throws all 3 games.
Yeah.
Ke'Bryan Hayes is on fire now. Kutch did not get 2,000.
Nope.
What else? Yeah, lots of things.
Yeah.
Lots of things to talk about.
Lots of good things.
Lots of good things to talk about. Really, lots of good things to talk about. Let's go ahead and take care of some of the transactions that occurred, because there were some things that we've talked about on here, and kind of like little updates of sorts in that way. Robert Stevenson out of nowhere getting traded to the Rays for minor league infielder Alika Williams, which what we know of Alika Williams is he's got a great glove. I think that's the extent of it, right?
Yeah. Former first round pick.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I do remember that. Okay. As a result, they recalled Mark Mathias, which I guess I was a little bit wondering if that was not going to last long, assuming we were going to need to fill a bullpen role.
Yeah.
Dwayne Underwood Jr. was outrighted to Indy. That doesn't feel like everything. What else happened? That can't be everything. Okay, I might have to open up my transactions here, because it does feel like there should be one more thing, because that takes 2 people off and only puts 1 on. Oh, Cody Bolton. Cody Bolton was added. Right? Or was he before
Cody
that?
Bolton was added.
Oh, this was outright. Okay, so Dwayne Underwood. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see the note. See, Jake did the transactions today, so his thought process was there. Mine was not. And so, yeah, he was outrighted to Indy because he cleared waivers. That's what it is. Okay, I got you. I was going to say that, because that happened before. Okay. So anyway, Robert Stevenson is the big deal here. We talked about how he started off good. There was some good that we liked from him.
Mm-hmm.
And then it felt like as soon as we said that, the wheels kind of fell off.
Yeah.
However, I mean, I still think that there's some good innings from him to come. I think that he's still found something that's working for him. I don't know. I don't know where the Pirates are sitting on this. I don't necessarily hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate it or love it. The only thing I don't love about it is you're making another trade with the Rays.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, geez Louise.
Feels like one of those things where you say, like, we should just know better, just to never deal with the Rays. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's always
Stevenson's
something.
going to go down there and be their closer.
Yeah. That's a possible. You know what I mean? Like, you just never know. You never know. Yeah, very interesting. Bullpen is kind of a strength for this team, and I don't know if maybe Stevenson in that sense was not part of the solution there. I mean, he's like I said, seems like we've been doing okay, but yeah, not a whole lot to complain about there. He was kind of coughing a little bit up, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Cody Bolton, again, rough showing in his time here. I still think this kid is fine. I still think he's going to bounce back. But on Saturday, he was optioned to Indy. They selected the contract of Angel Perdomo, the 6'8" lefty. Recalled Yuri De Los Santos. I was kind of surprised about this. I really was. I wasn't sure. I've seen him pitch a few times, TV, whatever. It hasn't been necessarily great.
Yeah.
I still feel like he's got some stuff to work on, and so I was interested in this. To skip the other, just to fast forward to today, he was optioned to Indy the very next day, and they selected the contract of Chase DeYoung again. In the process of all that, as I'm getting more and more stuffed up the more I talk right now, Chris Owings DFA'd, and I'm going to solo Jake here for a second so I can take care of some stuff.
Solo me with no lead. I love it. But yeah,
Chris Owings is your lead.
I kind of saw the Chris Owings coming. My guy, he just hasn't been doing much of anything for us, really. And if, to me, it's a good situation because you're doing it, kind of doing this with a pitcher involved. So it wasn't like, well, who do we bring up to just sit and rot away? Like we brought up another bullpen arm because we had Matthias added earlier. So Matthias is your guy that's going to sit there and take the lumps on the bench. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that. Like, there's no reason to call up one of our prospects right now when they're probably not going to get the playing time.
Yeah. Yeah, I see some of that. I think Matthias also he's been playing really well since going down. So I think that's kind of part of it. Chris Owings was not getting it done.
No.
Keep giving a shot to Matthias. I would say that Matthias's at-bats, even when he was up, were better than what we've seen from Owings anyway. I know that the shortstop thing is not there, but I really think Marcano has showed up enough to take the lion's share of games at shortstop.
Right.
And he's been good enough.
Yeah, he's been playing fine over there.
Yeah. We'll see about...
And his bat's coming along really well. He's been hitting the ball real well. Marcano has.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. Perdomo pitched in... I feel like it was the game after... Yeah, it felt like they pitched everybody. He pitched 2 1/3 in the Ortiz start. Ortiz goes 2 innings.
Rain delay.
Once you're out, what is it? 20 minutes, half hour? As soon as you're that long, usually. You're done. You're done. And so Perdomo comes out and gets 2 1/3, 3 strikeouts, no walks, no hits, no runs. Really like what you see from him. And then De Los Santos gets his outing there to go 2/3, a walk and a strikeout. He pitched Friday night too, though, didn't he? No, he didn't. It was Cody Bolton's pitched. Cody Bolton pitched Friday night, and that was kind of the one where you were kind of curious. Well, he went an inning and 2/3. He didn't give up any runs, but he had 6 base runners. He had 2 hits, 4 walks, and there's still something there that you're wanting from Bolton. A lot of bullpen arms at this point, like just a lot of guys. You go, Contreras only goes 4 innings, and you had Zastrisny, Bolton, Ramirez, Holderman, and Bednar, who all kept the Cardinals completely quiet, no runs. Ortiz gives up 1, and then you get basically nothing other than the 2 runs that Holderman gave up, which I'm not worried about, right? I mean, this team's going to get you every once in a while. They got Holderman here, and he didn't have the full arsenal, I don't think. I think he was missing just a little bit. He had the one walk. He didn't strike anybody out, kind of a thing. And so it's not surprising that something like that can happen every once in a while. Johan Ramirez gets him out of it, who's still impressing us just every time he goes out there.
Mm-hmm.
But also Perdomo, Yeri De Los Santos, Jose Hernandez, Dowry Moretta, Colin Holderman, and then Bednar at the end again. And then in the last one, we finally get an opportunity to rest a little bit of that bullpen. And it's such a surprise seeing Rich Hill going into the 7th inning. 6 2/3. You know, he probably wanted to finish that inning. But who better to bring in with a guy on than Dowry Moretta? Let me just bring this up real quick. I tweeted out Friday night, or Friday afternoon, I guess, before the game. Actually, it was Friday morning. Sorry. Dowry Moretta, his start that we had talked about last week, and we had talked about it on the show. And I just kind of compared it to the rest of the league. You know, we talked about how he's had 18 inherited runners and only one of them has scored. And how crazy that was. Well, I looked it up. Top 10 of with inherited runner score percentage with at least 10 inherited runners in the National League. Actually, this is the major leagues. Only Will Smith is even close with 16 inherited runners. Couple with 15. But there's only 12 guys who've inherited 10 runners, and he's sitting there with 18, and only one has scored. Now, all of those guys, only one has scored. So it's really just how many of them is the reason he's got the best percentage. And really, Will Smith is that same 6%. I'm sure there's different numbers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He adds 3 more this weekend, inherited runners without any of them scoring. So he just continues to have a knack for this
role.
Yes, exactly. This role. Yep.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm here for it. I had a couple people reply to the tweet saying, you know, when he needs to pitch in the 7th more. And I get that. Like I totally get that. I just wonder, or do you want him not in this role? I think I really want him in this role.
Yeah. I'd like him right where he's at.
Yeah. And so we see on this list, when I look at just the Pirates pitchers who've inherited a runner, I mean, the Pirates are the lowest percentage in the National League at 21%, allowing them to score. A lot of that was Dwayne Underwood Jr., who inherited 8 runners, and 5 of them scored. Jose Hernandez has had 7 and only let 2 score. Robert Stevenson, 13 and has let 3 score. And then Zastryzny 2 and 1, but that's such a small sample, you don't really have anything to go off of. Colin Holderman 2, Johan Ramirez 3, Chase DeYoung 4. None of those guys have let an inherited runner score yet. So they've been doing a good job at this sort of thing, this bullpen.
Yeah.
It's more than just ERA, as we talked about. Where are we at here? So we're talking about I thought that you had a note on one of these guys that I just talked about. One of the relievers that I just talked about.
No.
Okay. Well, there we go. Thought there was. Oh, you had a note on Roanzi, and I was looking at the Roanzi game, and I had mentioned the 4 innings, the 5 runs, 6 Ks. He didn't walk anybody. I thought it was a step in the right direction, but you had a note on Roanzi that you wanted to bring up.
Yeah, I just feel like he needs another pitch. Like, I think that's one of the reasons he was going to the bullpen. I think they were trying to figure out his curveball or something, because, man, he's relying heavy on his slider. His slider, and I saw at one point in the game, there was a graphic that was 48% of his pitches were the slider and 46% was the fastball. And then he threw his curveball like 6% or something, somewhere along those lines. Like, you with the way his slider is, when he keeps it down in the zone and it breaks, it's filthy.
Yeah.
But as soon as it gets above the knees above, like it just spins and just hangs there, and yet he still throws it a ton. And when he leaves that hanging, he gets punished for it every time. Like
Well,
he
he
can't get
wasn't,
one.
right? He wasn't, but he did. He certainly did in this game.
Yeah.
It's like they were waiting on the slider because it's kind of been
Yeah.
that
And
ghost
when
pitch
he's,
for him, right?
yeah, and he's been throwing it so much. I don't know if he's tipping it, and it's not, maybe it's not even tipping it. It's just, they know it's coming eventually because he's throwing it half the time.
Yeah. Well, it's the other thing is location of the fastball. You know, when he's not locating the fastball, a lot of guys are just going to sit and look for that slider because the
Hmm.
fastball they can usually take. Um, yeah, it's something that he's certainly going to have to work on, and I do like that. Do you think is he is his usage so overwhelming of just fastball slider?
It was that game. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know if it's been like this all year. I haven't tried to look up the breakdown of it all year, but just this game particularly, I saw there was just a ton of sliders, and a lot of them that just spun and they just hang there.
Yeah, I was going to try to look this up and see if there's. Um, it looks like his distribution right now is 44% slider, 42% fastball, 11% curve, and 3% changeup. It is certainly a heavy dose of sliders coming from Rowanzi for this season. Looking
I
at
don't know.
last year, it was 48% fastball, 34 slider, 14 curve. So he sprinkled in a few more of the curve there, but he was pretty dominantly the fastball, and he's really thrown the slider a lot and dropped the curve even a little more. And we know that his fastball velocity has been down a couple ticks. I don't 94 to 96 for an average velocity is probably not for me is not going to make a huge difference.
As
But
long as you can locate it, and that's been his little bit of his issue.
right. So yeah, that's really interesting. If that curveball percentage can go up, or the biggest thing is if you can get me now. This is just fastball. I don't know if this breaks down the difference between, um, just I'm just looking at like the main dashboard card pitch distribution on
Hmm.
Baseball Savant. So I don't know if that actually goes into two seam. Is he just throwing a four seam?
Right. I'm not sure.
I'm trying to look here to see. I mean, it's just shown 40. It's just four seamer 41.8. So yeah, I mean, we're looking at just the four seam. I would imagine that's probably what their work, right? For Mitch, it was the cutter, it was the sinker, it was, you know what I mean. Get me a different fastball that's going to look a little bit different coming in there.
Right.
So I bet that's
Right.
probably what it is. That's pretty interesting. I haven't really done any breakdowns with Rowanzi, and looking anything for him up. So maybe that's something I need to do. As if we didn't just do that. It felt like, I mean, that was pretty quick, right? But
Yeah.
still, that's a quick and dirty, and that's a good call out there. I think that's probably going to be the main thing. Get back to
Yeah.
throwing more fastballs, and the way that you can do that is by adding another fastball. If you can get a cutter, if you get something that breaks in or out, something.
Even if he can just get more confidence in throwing his, if he's got a changeup, if you can figure out how to get more confident with it, changeup's a great pitch. And I know I'm a big changeup guy, but
Yeah.
I mean, 3%. I mean, if you can throw that, get that up to 15% or 10%, it's that would go a long way to complementing your fastball.
Yeah, you look at a guy like Mitch Keller. Let's see what his distribution is.
I agree with you as well. If you can get a different fastball look too.
Yeah. Yeah, you got 46% fastball, 24 cutter, 14 slider, 12 curve, 4 change. Looking at the pitch mix there, that's really it. Now, but when you break it down, you've got four seamer 24%, cutter 24, sinker 21.3, and then sweeper 14, curve 12.4, change up 4.2. So a little more of a breakdown when you get into that
Hmm.
frequency where you start adding the sinker, the cutter, the four seam, all in the 20s.
Yeah.
you're really,
The hitters are constantly guessing.
yeah. You've got different shapes, different angles, different breaks. Absolutely.
Right.
So, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Um, let's get into the next thing here. Where are we at? I mean, we really didn't even get into the games. Do we need to? I mean, we did great. We're down 5-0 to start the series. We come back and win 7-5. And then, we don't look back there. We really, I mean, we were down 1-0, but that's not really a comeback to me. We ended up being up 4-1 before the 2 runs off Holderman on Saturday. And then today's game, 2 runs in the first, and we don't score again. Kind of just a pitching matchup there, but 2 for 9 on Saturday and Sunday with runners in scoring position, 3 for 13 on Friday. So it's not that, everything's figured out, but it seemed,
Sure.
You score 7-4, and then, like I said, today was more of the pitching variety, but a lot to like. Hey, did Hedges really have a double and a single in this game? Here we go. Still not 200.
I said it when we were in their car. I was watching it on my phone. I was like, "Look at Hedges being on base twice today."
Hayes on base 3 times today.
And that strikeout he had late by Jordan Hicks, no one's hitting that. That was ridiculous.
He throws 103 up, and he was behind the 103, but that was a guess, and he was like, I'm swinging at this pitch. Yeah. And with a guy that throws as hard as Hicks does all the time, you have to do that.
Yeah.
You just have to. So...
And he breaks that slider on the other half. Looks like you're going to wear it on the ribs.
Oh, my gosh. It's coming right in like his hands area, and he pulls it in, and then you see him kind of check swing because once you recognize that's a slider, and when your slider's coming in at 90, right after a 103, like, just forget about it, man.
Yeah.
Just forget about it.
That guy's a dude.
Yeah, he's really, really good.
He's good.
But moving on to Hayes, first thing, let's start this conversation off with a clip from what I said on Friday's episode. I've cut it up a little bit to take some of my little inserts in there, right? But here's the clip of what I said on Friday. It's still there for me. It's still there for me. He's just, it has to start clicking. I'm not going to sit here and hang my hat. I was hanging my hat on you, Key. I said he's doing all the right things, and I said he will be back. I'm not giving up on him. But I'm just not going to sit here and dwell on it right now until the results come. I'm done with it. So, are these the results? Are we already there?
Yeah, I think so.
This was a pretty convincing weekend. I'm okay with a 1 day. I'm okay. I mean, back-to-back games with a home run. He comes the Sunday game after that. He goes with 3 more hits. 3 hits on Friday. 3 hits on Sunday. And they're all different kinds of hits when you think of the exit velocity, right? Because we've said, he's hitting the ball hard, he's hitting the ball hard. I mean, we talked about the triple that he had in San Francisco when he had 2 hits, but his triple was like an 82-mile-an-hour ground ball. It just happened to be down the line, and he ends up getting a triple on it. And you could very easily convince me that, like, oh, well, he kind of got lucky on that one. And to which I would say, like, it's about time. But also, I'll give you that. The 2 hits in that game, maybe that's, a little different. But he follows it up with the showing that he had this weekend. And, McHenry was the first one I saw. I'm not sure where it busted out, but McHenry's breakdown was the first one I saw where he showed the toe tap that Hayes has gone to. A post-game interview today, and he brought up the toe tap that he's going to, that he says he's on the ground when he's starting his swing instead of leg in the air or whatever. And so attribute it to the toe tap if that's the thing that's working. But we also said that like 4 or 5 of those hits were to the pull side.
And that's what it is too. That toe tap is all timing, and when you're on time, you can get out ahead of the ball and get the head of the bat out and barrel some balls up, hit them to the pull side, like, because you're on it, your timing's there.
Yeah, Friday night it was 3 hits, 4 RBIs, a double in the big home run. And then Tuesday, another home run. He goes 1 for 3. Sunday, 3 singles and the strikeout. I mean, he's got his average right back to 242, just like that. Just like that, right?
Right.
On base percentage still at 290. He's got a little work to do, but this is a great start.
Yeah, for sure.
To kind of turn the corner there. Let's get May behind us as a team.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes Key Brian Hayes. I think this has to be a year that he's going to break out and become the offensive player that he's going to be. I say that in a way to say, like, he's, I made the argument. You and I both talked about this on Friday. He doesn't have to be a middle of the order type traditional 1980s third baseman, right? Or 1990s. Let's not get too exaggerated here. I made my points about his offense and what it quote unquote needs to be.
Yeah.
But we're going to see who Key Brian Hayes is this year. I think we should. That doesn't mean he's not going to have better years. It doesn't mean he's not going to have down years, but for the most part, let's see what this guy is.
Yeah.
If he's going to be, and you can throw away May and say, what did he do from June to the end of the year? Or keep May in there and say, yeah, because he could have that sort of a month another time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's he going to be? And I think, we went into this year, I was somewhere around 14 or 15 home runs. You were somewhere around, you were in for a big year from Key. So you were in with 20 homers. And so, we'll see where he lands in that spectrum and what you're going to kind of see. I think if a guy gets you 12 to 15 home runs and hits you, around 250 to 280 with his defense, I think you're rolling with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you.
But this was a great, great series for Key. 7 for 11 with the 2 homers and the fact that they were big.
Yeah.
The fact that they were impactful is a big deal.
Yeah, the 3-run homer put us in the lead.
Yeah. That we never gave back up.
Right.
Also, hey, just because of the back-to-back, Josh Palacios, right?
Yeah.
First big league homer. I'm here for it, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. We didn't actually get into Bednar, did we? The post game
mentioned it. Yeah.
The post game there. I got 3 kids, so I don't hear every word. Did he kind of say, "Hey, put me in"? Because this is the first time they kind of made it clear they weren't going to go 3 straight days.
Yeah, he said he poked his head into the office before the game and told Shelton basically, "Hey, I want this. If it comes down to it, I'm good to go."
Okay.
So
love it.
Little self promotion there, and I love it. Like, this dude, he wants it. He wants Pittsburgh winning. He wants to be in the situation to get the big outs. I love it, man. This dude, hilarious post game interviews. Dude can't stop smiling. He just loves the game of baseball. He loves the pressure situations. Looks like he's gonna take your firstborn when he's on the rubber, and then afterwards he can't stop smiling.
I feel like that's your kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's for real too. And we have to keep kind of reminding ourselves that, I guess. There's some guys we like to root for a lot. And sometimes those guys are underdog type players because of how hard you kind of root for them.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this guy's not an underdog.
No.
And he felt like it early on. You know what I mean? It's definitely had that feel. But that is not the case. Dude is for real.
Yep.
And what he did here, I would like to believe that Shelton, with the way that they've been they've been going about things and the decisions that they've made, whether or not they're my decisions or not, they are their decisions, right? Not saying I agree with any of them or disagree with any of
Sure.
them, but they've made it a point to say he's not going to throw 3 straight days. And the fact that he went back on that when Bednar came in is one part being like, okay, cool, that's a good like players manager type thing. He gets his players attention that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's something to be said about the manager also getting the respect from the players saying, I think that's our call and we're not going to do it. I'm not suggesting he says he does that, right? But I'm
Right.
saying I think equally it could be something where like, I love the fire. Keep the fire. Keep asking me to throw. However, we'll see. Like, we're going to make this call.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's like, to me, that's like Leland. Like, hey, I'm the manager here, not you. And you get respect that way as well. So I don't know. It's just, different people respond to different things. And like I said, all of this is just to set up the thing where it says, if you care about his health, and that's why he doesn't throw 3 straight days. And that's what they've said.
Yeah.
If this isn't the Cardinals, if this was the series against Seattle or the series against the Giants, I would like Shelton to say, hey, man, we got the series, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Somebody else can step up to the plate. But in division game, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with, to me, it's just a matter of Bednar's going to come in your office all the time. The dude wants the ball.
Yeah.
You have to be able to know when to say, not today, David. We got the series in the bag. We have a whole bullpen. And we have guys right now, I would trust Yohan Ramirez right now. He's hot right now.
Yeah.
So, if it's a situation like that, I could have very well been like satisfied with Yohan going back out there. I really think I would have been.
Yeah.
And hindsight's 2020, obviously, right? He goes out there and gives up a run to tie the game or something, and then you say like, oh man, you should have just brought you know what I mean? But we would have all said, yeah, but we already knew Bednar wasn't available.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. Super interesting to think about. I love those kind of discussions because there's no hindsight's 2020. There's no right and wrong going into it, especially in that situation. Like, he's the one that's going to know his body. I'd hate to see them do that. Like, they're going to give him some day. He probably won't pitch this series coming up.
Yeah, if he does, it'll be like the last game.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I wouldn't mind it if he doesn't even do that. Well, for more reason than one, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, it's to me that's the big thing. Is just if we're concerned about his health, we need to be consistent on that because we know back issues are not something to mess around with.
Yep.
That's something that we need to be careful about. And like I said, I definitely don't disagree with it. You're going up against the Cardinals. You have a chance to sweep the Cardinals. I still think the Cardinals are the best team in the Central. I still believe that somehow. And I know a lot of people are going to roll their eyes at me for saying that, but we've seen them already go on a run. It's nice that they were kind of in the middle of this thing and we said, not here. You know what I'm saying? It's nice to see us do that. But I'm not overall impressed with Milwaukee in the division. Like, as far as like at the top of the division, I'm just not. They've scored the least amount of runs of anybody in our division. They've got if they're not the worst run differential, they're close with the Reds in the division. So I think the Cardinals are probably still, let me pull this up here. I think they're still positive even after losing all 3 games because we only lost them by a couple runs. They're still a +3. Milwaukee and Cincinnati are playing right now. They're the only 2 with a negative run differential. The Cubs are at an even 0 right now. But yeah, Milwaukee scored the least amount of runs. Now, No, that does not. I mean, no, it doesn't depend on today's game unless they score like 25 runs. I'm just not like their expected win loss. The whole what do you call it? The Pythagorean.
Pythagorean theory.
Thanks, man. That was really poor. That was so bad. That word was not coming out of my mouth. I'm not even going to try it again because it's not coming out. Anyway, the expected win-loss based on run differential alone is 27-31, which is, other than Cincinnati, that's the worst. You know what I mean? So, by the way, the Pirates, the best on the plus 10. Certainly not,
where we'd like it to be.
Where we'd like it to be. Certainly not amongst the other division leaders.
Right.
Not even the American League Central, where the Twins are a plus 46 right now. But there's not even a team in the AL East with a plus 10. They're all better than that. The last place team, Boston Red Sox, are 30-28. So we are one game better than them.
Yeah.
But their run differential is a plus 16. But anyway, the idea is I still think that St. Louis, as bad as they've been, I still think that if somebody was to say you have to put a bet down, I mean, I might put my bet down on St. Louis to win that division. We just put them back in last place. But they're only 7 games out. I think the Pirates are probably going to hover around where they are for quite a while. They're going to go on runs. They're going to struggle. So getting a sweep here at this point in the season against a team like St. Louis is big, because who's going to keep them from doing that? The other teams in the division.
Yeah.
They're the only teams that are going to keep the Cardinals from getting back to the top. So this is one of those steps. Now, if St. Louis goes and they play a series against one of these other teams and the same sort of thing happens, that's going to start changing. Like, this is the beginning of June. It's early, but like you're on the fringe of not being able to say it's early. This is the month that you have to. The Cardinals, if they're going to do anything, they've got to start going. 7 games can be made up pretty quickly in a division that's playing as poorly as the Central.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, you go on a run and you go, let's say 10-3 over 13 games, you could probably be back within 3 games.
Yeah,
2 or 3 games.
Well, especially if you take if you go into a series with Milwaukee during that and sweep them, and then win a series against another team like the Pirates or the Reds that are in front of you. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really interesting division right now. It's a really interesting division because St. Louis should be the team at the top. Milwaukee could be close. I mean, they also have a lot of things they could be doing better. Obviously, scoring runs is one of them.
Yeah.
But we kind of sensed that something was wrong in Milwaukee, the way that they kind of went about their arbitration stuff with Burns, and you can't mess with that.
Right.
So
you either got to lock him up, or like you can't let that get to the actual hearing.
Right. Well, yeah. And in general, like, he's not going to re-sign there.
No, definitely not now.
So we kind of had an idea that maybe there was a little bit, of a potential for some struggle there. Where's the score of the Milwaukee game? Milwaukee in the 9th right now is up 5-1 on Cincinnati. I guess we're at the point where we can start looking ahead now to this week.
Yeah.
Coming into town for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is the non-athletics. I have no problem calling them that. I mean, this is as bad as it gets.
Yeah.
This is as bad as it gets. If I go to the standings here, I'm looking for a team that's the closest team to them. I would think that's Washington, but no, it's Kansas City.
Yeah, Washington's been playing pretty decent lately.
Well, they're still 25-33, so yeah. I guess they're better off than St. Louis right now. But anyway, Kansas City 17-41, Oakland 12-48. And when we hit record on here, they were up 5-1. And it's now the bottom of the 8th, tied 5-5.
Oh my gosh.
So they continue. They're 12-48. They're 26 and a half games back in the AL West right now in June. Like the first couple days of June.
Yeah.
They lost 3 straight coming into today. And my notes say they're currently winning. That is no longer true. They are tied 5-5. They're 2-8 in their previous games before that. So they're either going to be still 2-8 or 1-9, depending on what they did 10 games ago.
Yeah.
The pitching matchups, let me see here because I want to get the times here because we got a 7:05, a 7:05, and a 12:35. So another 12:35 Wednesday game. We've got Oviedo, Keller, and Rowanzi going for us. And listed right now is Monday JP Sears, who's a lefty, which is important. Like I said, I like our lefty lineup. JP Sears is 0-3 on the season with a 437. On Tuesday, it's James Caprillion, who is 0-6 on the year with an 8.12 ERA. And then Wednesday for the day game is Hogan Harris, which is another lefty. He's 0-0. He's only pitched in 3 games, so 6.97 ERA. His first outing, he came in through 1 inning, gave up like 6 runs. So it's kind of one of the things. He's pitched in 3 games. He has not started one of them yet. However, his last 2 outings, he pitched 5 innings each, giving up only 1 hit in the 1 outing against Houston. And then on Friday, he gives up. I wrote 3 earned runs. I think it was 5 hits and 2 earned runs against Miami on Friday. So probably a starter, but hasn't started yet, considering he went back-to-back 5-inning games. Made his debut this year. He's 26 years old. And he plays for the Oakland Athletics, the currently known Oakland, or currently from Oakland Athletics. I'm not going to get into what they're trying to do there.
Yeah.
They pretty much already have one of the first 7 picks locked in. I think they could just play ball from here on out if they wanted to. But it's bad.
Yeah, it's historically bad.
What are we like? Who are we watching for? Who's the dangerous guy on this team? There's one guy I think that's playing pretty well for them, right? And that's about it. Is it Brent Rooker? No. It's not Brent. Yeah, it is Brent Rooker. He's got 11 home runs. He's 357 on base, 851 OPS. He's really your guy right now that you'd be worried about. He's an outfielder, Brent Rooker. He's the one that's pretty much the only one doing any damage, I think.
Yeah.
Man, there's just not much going on. I mean, they're 12-48. There can't be much going on.
Still don't want to run on Laureano defensively. Dude's got a cannon.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at their roster right now and saw his name.
So we have AT&T Sportsnet for all of them. There's no tricks up anybody's sleeves. They do have a couple national broadcast games Monday and Wednesday, but only for out of market. I would assume for most people listening here, you're in market. So, but they will be on MLB Network both of those days for those of you who are listening who are not in the local market. So, like you, Jake.
Yeah, kind
of. Whatever you got going on there.
DirecTV Stream still thinks I live in Ohio, so I still get AT&T Sports.
So you probably would still also be blacked out then on MLB Network.
Yes.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? So you won't watch on MLB Network.
Right.
It's probably just the Pirates broadcast being shown on MLB Network. I doubt it's a full thing, right?
Right. Right.
So I can't like reasonably say anything other than sweep them. I mean, it's to that point.
Yeah.
Obviously, take a series. You cannot lose the series. Period. Don't undo anything that you've done this weekend. You have to take the series.
Right. Right.
However,
Go play your game.
you really
Get some
want to
dubs.
you really want to get a sweep here. And if you do, you're looking at another 7-win streak.
Yeah.
Right? Because they've got,
Yeah.
is that right?
That'll be 8.
Yeah, that'll be 8.
Because they're 5 in a row right now.
That's right, because we lost the first game there. Okay. That'd be nice. I say roll it. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that's a strong that's a strong performance heading into next weekend against the Mets. You get a day off there. You got Bednar ready to go for another weekend. And you got Monday off after that. So let's rock and roll.
Yeah.
And then it's a long string of games before we get another day off.
I got one more hand clap to hand out. If
Let's
you don't
do
mind.
it.
Yeah. Albert Pujols in the booth.
Yeah?
That was he had some good stuff, man. Like, just Bob walks sitting next to him. He says, "Hey, I've covered a lot of games, and it was truly an honor to sit by you for this game." Like, dude's a legend.
Well, here, let's give it to you.
Yes.
All right.
First broadcast game.
Okay. So we had a little crazy going on here. We made mom and dad stop here on their way home from you.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like they were like, yeah, we're gonna be home at like 3:30 in the morning, and we're like, you're going through Columbus. Why don't you just go a little bit more out of your way and get a good night's sleep? So they stopped. They were here for just like 12 hours, and they turned and left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with that, the kids going crazy because they were excited, and then Keely had a friend over, and it's just kind of a thing. But
Yeah.
it's a little bit crazy. I don't have anything else. Hopefully the Key Brian Hayes thing is still going to keep going, because that to me that's going to be critical. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
As good as he's been hitting, and really cool things from that front that make me. I'm right back on board. I know I said what I said. I said I'm done until the results come. But listen to me though. I wasn't giving up. I knew that it was there. I saw it. It's been too much to. I don't think that all that he put together in April and in the beginning of May. It couldn't have been a mistake. It couldn't have been something that is not repeatable.
Right.
There was just something missing. And the toe tap seems to be the thing right now. It'll be something else another time. This is the thing about baseball. Keep adjusting.
Yep.
Anything else you're looking for coming up this week? I mean, I know we have, we've already talked about getting the sweep and all that stuff, but is there an offensive player that you're looking to kind of break out? I just feel like I'm going to put you on the spot here to throw in the next guy. I mean, we've seen Castro and Bay kind of figure some things out. Marcano's been good. We're starting to get those guys trending up and making that battle interesting again. You had Santana go down with the back. He came back and made, a couple really big games. Now, he wasn't as great in this series, but Key Brian made the turn that he made. Are we looking at, is Brian Reynolds somebody that maybe has a big series here?
That's the one I was going to lean on, to be honest with you. Is I want to see Reynolds start driving the ball and, put some balls out by and over the fence. Like, start driving the ball a little more, get a little bit more lift on it. Not that he's not hitting right now. He's just not hitting for power right now. And he's a guy in our lineup that I want hitting for power as well.
Yeah. I will go out on a limb here. And I'm going to start the music because I don't want to linger into this. This is going to be a big one. Austin Hedges hits his first home run this week. I think he's seeing barrel a little bit. I think he's going to get confident and make a big swing.
Yeah.
Just one. I think he just gets one.
I can see it. Yeah.
Call it wild if I get that one. Hey guys, hope
you're power to do it. So
yep. Hope we see some 3 more wins. Let's get a big one, and we'll talk to you again on Friday. Let's go Bucks.
Let's go Bucks.
Thanks for listening to my dad and Uncle Jake on the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2Buctober. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are released. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks.